recording.
Is it going? Is it going?
It says recording.
How does internet work, Charlie?
This one's recording.
I'm Nick.
You're Nick. Okay, so you're Nick.
Wait. Let's do that again.
Well, we have a lot of Laserdiscs to talk about.
Oh boy!
Since this is kind of the second iteration of this online edition that we're doing here, this long distance Laser Discourse, I thought maybe, Nick, we could do some sequels that I really like.
I like that idea, and I was thinking that since today is May 6th and it was just May 4th, maybe we could talk about a certain May the 4th movie. Oh yes, that's
like this?
The one.
Yeah, if you follow us on Instagram, I was doing some posts about the Star Wars trilogy on May the 4th. This is the definitive collection, obviously, of the OG trilogy.
Oh my God, that is...
This thing's honestly, I can't hold this up very long because this weighs like 60 pounds. But it's got the whole trilogy. It's got a book about George Lucas in it. And it's one of the great Laserdisc collector items you could find out there. I was lucky enough to get this in a lot recently. So,
oh man,
this book is like all about George Lucas's whole career: Indiana Jones and Willow and Howard the Duck. You remember that classic?
How could I forget film in Petaluma?
Yeah, one of our claim to fames here in the North Bay. But it's got a lot about Star Wars, obviously, and The Empire Strikes Back, just one of those great sequels, one of the greatest sequels in movie history. I think it does the great job of building on the world, the universe that you get in Star Wars. Kind of gets the stakes up a little bit. The villains are a little meaner.
It's kind of it's not a happy movie, like
right.
the first of the original trilogy, The New Hope, really left me feeling fantastic, and then Empire Strikes Back, I'm like, I don't know, I'm uneasy. Like that's why I'm glad they brought Ewoks in for Return of the Jedi. Who doesn't love an Ewok? For everybody.
Solid choice there on the Ewoks. Yeah. This collection also has got a lot of great special features, like interviews with Lucas and stuff at the end of all the movies. So got to get that on Laserdisc. That's a must.
That is a must. So if you can find, how is this a limited edition? Like, are there only 500 of these made? What's the?
I couldn't tell you the number off the top of my head. I should have done some research before we started this.
Whatever.
I know someone on the Instagram said that maybe an early version, an early release of this box set had a couple seconds missing from Empire Strikes Back. That's something I had to look up. So I think they might have goofed a little bit. So hopefully I don't have the one where they goofed. I might have to check some serial numbers. But anyways, it's the way to see. It's probably the best looking Laserdiscs I have. Like,
I love those commemorative
ones. Yeah. It really looks good, even with just the RGB kind of connectors that they have. It was beautiful. So, some other sequels. I actually noticed all my sequels are like action movie sequels. So we're going to get a lot of...
My favorite sequel has to be Godfather 2.
Ooh.
Do you have that one? Do you have Godfather 2? Because that's when it's like they go back in time, but it's still relevant to the story. Yes, there it is. Oh, they pull me back in, Charlie.
Yeah, I pulled out the Godfathers for sure.
Yes.
Because part 2 is, again, maybe part 2 is probably the ultimate sequel, obviously. I think it's the only sequel that ever won the Academy Award for Best Picture.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And it is like Empire, it builds on the whole family. Yeah, the history with, again, De Niro. We talked about De Niro last episode. Just looking so good as the young Godfather. But part 2. I'm glad you brought that one up.
That is, it's as far as like quality films go, excellent. I totally love. I'd watch that movie on its own.
And of course, part 3, you got to also
put it down. Get out of here. We're sequels, not trequels.
We're talking about real movies here today, guys. All right.
The movies that don't suck. All right. That should be the name of this. Just movies that don't suck with Charlie and Nick.
Ooh, I like that. That's a good,
Hey,
yeah, that's our spinoff.
there we go.
Here's a movie that doesn't suck. We actually did an episode on the first one of this already, but I have to talk about how much I love
Oh, yes.
Terminator 2, The Day of Judgment, and just how awesome. This is one of those movies where I wasn't allowed to watch R-rated movies as a kid, but my babysitter had this on VHS. So like when I was 9 or whatever, the neighbor, would watch us. They let us watch Terminator 2.
And when you're 9, that is hands down the coolest thing you've ever seen. I remember watching this as a kid, and I was like, he's made of liquid, but he's made of metal, and he's unstoppable. How are they going to stop him? I'm not going to spoil it for you, but it's worth watching.
It blew my mind when I was a kid, for sure. The action sequences, the chase sequences. This Laserdisc I found, actually I have a few different versions of this movie.
Of course.
And this one, I found a little surprise in it. I just got to show you this. The poster.
Oh, yeah. I love it when I get records with posters in them, too. And I've never seen a Laserdisc with a poster, but, man, that is cool.
It's pretty sick. I got to frame this. I also have to
tack it to the wall. Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, just throw it up there. Also, this is a real rarity. I have to show you this. It's the Terminator 2 Special Edition promotional trailer.
What?
Now, this one I was lucky enough to get off of a guy who used to manage Blockbuster video stores. Okay. So he would get movies, and he was a collector because he could get these at like what do you call it? Not the markup price, but the
at
the
cost.
distributor.
Yeah,
at cost. But this is a promotional trailer with like a few scenes that only came out to the stores. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get this on here.
I see it. It's just a teeny little.
Is that it's backwards on my screen? Is that correct on your screen?
It looks right for me. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's good. So this is a few scenes, promotional use only. So if you've got this, and I love also the little like 10-inch.
The single.
7-inch. This is the single of Laserdiscs. I actually have one this size also that's like the We Are the World music video. That's pretty sick.
We got to have a whole one just about, because you have several music and live performance.
Maybe the next one.
That'll be one.
I like that
because I'm missing live music so much.
Ooh, right yeah.
Let's do one about live music on Laserdisc.
I'm into it. That'll be the next.
The best way to experience live music.
For sure. Yeah. Put you right there. Just put you right there.
You're right there.
When they say Rod Stewart, tonight he's yours, they're talking about you.
Wow.
Tonight he is yours.
Why are there big smooches on the TV screen? What's going on here?
Couldn't tell you.
Oh, okay.
The other one I have to do, the James Cameron sequel that I have to talk about, is Aliens.
Which is better, I would say, again, is better than the original Alien.
Ooh, that's a tough call. I don't know. I think they're just so different as far as the tone. Like, this is just such an
that's
action
fair
movie, whereas the first one's very, sci-fi.
Yeah.
Terror. But I have the special widescreen collector's edition that like comes in a little box of both the first one and Aliens. And again, you get this cool, like, the nerd in me just loves this so much. You get this cool, like, fold out.
Oh man,
it's got all
the kind of stuff DVDs tried.
Right.
Some of them had a little booklet, but it's so small. And this is the thing about Laserdiscs that I love so much. It's like you get the gatefold and you get all the info, and it's well produced, and it's like, if you're really a fan of the movie, this is the way to go.
This is the way to go. I mean, I don't know if you've ever seen these photos, like these cast photos before. This young Paul Reiser here.
Man.
Lance Henriksen, just like these aren't easy to find, these kind of character shots, even out in the world today. So stuff like this, I just like, I love it so much. Beautiful stuff. Let's see.
What other sequels do you have for us here? What's another one that you had planned out?
Another one that
plenty of sequels.
I got a lot of sequels. You can see I have Back to the Future Part 2 there in the corner. I got a lot of trilogies. This one, as a kid, again, was a huge deal for me. Batman Returns.
Oh, the Penguin.
The Bat, the Cat, and the Penguin. Remember that tagline?
I do, yeah.
In '89, I was like 6 years old when the first Batman comes out, right? The first Tim Burton Batman. And that just blows everybody's mind. Everybody's into it. But this movie came out, and again, my mom and dad being strict, like the commercials were obvious that this was going to be like way too dark for me as a kid. They decided, you know, or maybe the Michelle Pfeiffer in the all leather suit. They're like, not sure we should expose our 9-year-old to
hot.
The pure sex that is Michelle Pfeiffer in her
in black leather. Yes, exactly. Yes.
And so they wouldn't let me watch Batman Returns when it came out, but they would let me buy all the like stuff. So I had like fanny packs and the trading cards and like a hat. And I'm walking around 9 years old like Batman Returns, having never seen it, but just, you know, you have to fake it.
Oh my God.
You got to fake it till you make it. But eventually I do see it. And it really is. It's just such a great like expression of Tim Burton's kind of weirdness. And they really just let him do whatever he wanted to. So
yeah,
got to give it up for that.
Can I throw one in that you might not have? I'm just going to shout this out. Ace Ventura 2, When Nature Calls. Because that, I had low expectations when that came out. And it totally blew me away with how hilarious and original it was. And how did he get 2 movies out of that character is beyond me. But holy cow, when he's birthed by a rhino. Man.
I mean, one of the most iconic full man birthing scenes in history. Right?
Possibly the most iconic full man birthing scene in recorded history. Possibly. I don't know. I'm gonna have to check the records, but this might be it.
That might be, that might do that.
But that's another one of my favorite sequels. That kind of bucks our trend of really deep and heavy movies with another type of sequel that was, you know, equally in that realm, I think.
You know, it's funny. I really don't have a lot of like comedy sequels. I notice I have a lot of like maybe there's just more action movies got sequels made, but you know, I don't have the City Slickers 2. You know, I need to get myself, you know, some.
Do you have Weekend at Bernie's too?
No, I only have the first one. I have the first Weekend at Bernie's,
but not the sequel. And you call yourself a collector?
It's a huge black hole in my collection, and I'm sure other people can.
It's a stain on your Laserdisc cred. I'm telling you.
Oh man, I'm stained.
You gotta get that. eBay right now.
Or, you know, our viewers, if you've got an extra copy of Weekend at Bernie's 2, Electric Boogaloo. That's another one I need to get. I need to get Breakin' 2, Electric Boogaloo.
You do need that. That's a staple, I think. So
I have the first Breakin'. I don't have.
Anybody wants to send us either Weekend at Bernie's 2 or Breakin' 2, Electric Boogaloo, we will watch it when we can get together again and do a show about it and specifically shout you out if you want.
Oh man.
Oh, you just had divine inspiration.
I just had one. Hold on.
Okay.
I just realized I have maybe the best sequel of all time, actually, and I totally did not think about it until this very second. Are you ready for this?
It better be good.
This is legit.
Got my hopes so high right now.
So legit. Gremlins 2, The New Batch.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Okay, I'm not let down.
Did you ever see the Key and Peele sketch about this movie? They did a sketch.
Yes.
And it's just the guy going, "It's in the movie." And they just named off all the most ridiculous things possible. They all are really in the movie. This is like it's a total Looney Tunes like live action movie. And at one point it's like interactive and it's just it's insane. It's insane. Gremlins, the first one's got a lot of heart. And this one is just like nasty, weird gremlin humor that like it's freaky stuff, man.
Okay.
So good though.
All right.
It's
That's a good poll.
Gremlins 2, The New Batch. I can't think of a better example of a sequel just going totally insane with the concept. Yeah. Anyways, last one I got to do.
Okay.
Oh man, I have so many though. All right. So if you ever saw this movie called Eddie and the Cruisers, are you familiar with Eddie and the Cruisers?
No, I'm not. And I love that you have so many great movies that I am unfamiliar with. So
basically,
please.
it's like early '80s, and it's like Eddie is like Buddy Holly / James Dean type character, leads a band, the Cruisers.
Mm-hmm.
He disappears. Car goes off a cliff. He's dead, and it's kind of like people remembering him and like building this life of this guy.
Okay.
Now, to kind of steal a Royal Tenenbaum's joke, the second movie, everyone knows he's dead in the first one, but the second movie supposes maybe he's not. Eddie and the Cruisers 2, Eddie lives.
Oh no, he's back.
he's been a guy. He didn't die. He didn't die in that cliff accident, Nick.
And it's loads of fun. It says right there, loads of fun.
He changes his name to Joe West, and he moves to Montreal, where he starts a new life, as you do, in Montreal.
So it's basically a completely different movie with a completely different character. But same actor? Is it the same actor?
Yeah. It's Michael Paré.
Okay.
Paré, yeah, who's in Streets of Fire. Very cool.
Okay.
But yeah, it's kind of like Gremlins too. It's just like, here's kind of a nugget of an idea. Let's just go in this direction with it, and just totally screw up the whole thing, because who cares, right?
Yeah. Well, what if Elvis did the same thing and he just came back under a different name as like, Joe Palooka from
exactly.
I don't know, Walla Walla, Washington. That seems like an Elvis thing. Oh, I'm over here in Walla Walla.
Yeah, he's the greatest Elvis impersonator in Walla Walla now.
Yeah, except he's a little fatter than you'd want. But, take what you get. It's Walla Walla.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Can't complain.
Yeah.
So there you go. I have more sequels, but we'll get into those later. I think we've run
That's great
here.
I can't wait to see who sends us Weekend at Bernie's 2 on Laserdisc Pod and Laser Discourse Pod.
Laser Discourse Pod on Instagram.
I always get it wrong. Why do I even try?
It's weird. It's weird how you get it wrong every time. And then it's just
it is weird that you don't know anything. Yes, that's pretty weird.
Yes.
What is so you say it. Just you say it this time. I'm not even going to try. What is it?
It's Laser Discourse Pod on Instagram, and then it's just Laser Discourse on Facebook and Twitter.
Okay.
And I still have not set up the Pinterest account.
Did you set up the OnlyFans page?
And there's
I told you to.
There's a YouTube. Yeah, there's a YouTube. But yeah, we're still working on the other ones.
All right. There is a YouTube.
There is a YouTube. I'll try to link to the YouTube in some.
Okay.
But I think if you just look us up, you might find it.
Good.
Yeah. Cool. So next episode, concerts. Yes.
Yeah.
That.
Live music is coming back on Laserdiscs.
Boom. Yeah, I've just been running the player with the tray open, just directly into the
Put your hand in it.